Hi, YouTube friends. I'm Megan, and this is Milo. We've got another short practice for you. This one's going to combine somatic yoga and yin, and we're going to do just one somatic yoga movement, one yin posture to help to create space in the side body. So if you want the full practice, you can join us on our membership library, the Kula. Go to embodywithmm.com. You can also still join us March 26th through April 1st in person on our Somatic Flow Yoga Retreat in Cancun, Portugal. You'll want to have a couple of blankets. I have a bolster. If you do have a bolster, bring that in too. You'll see I've got some extra padding, my sheepskin down. Milo's got his own over there. We're all good to go. And we're going to start down on our back. Take yourself down and take a big full body yawn. Think of all those plants underneath the earth trying to make their way up, but they're still under the earth. And you can be like those plants today. And as you're reaching, maybe just press through one foot and then the other, like you're pedaling a bicycle, just feeling one side stretch and the other. So this is a very informal way to start to feel your side bodies. As you push through one foot, reach through that hand on the same side. Just a little back and forth. One more breath in. Big breath in, exhale. Let it all go. Take your hands wherever they're comfortable. We'll just take 5 breaths of stillness. And notice where you're breathing naturally. Where does your breath find you? We just observe the spontaneous natural breath. Is your doorway your nose or your mouth? And if it's available, see if you can begin to breathe in and out your nose, or maybe in your nose. Sigh out your mouth. That's a nice way to let yourself land and ground. Then sense, where's the movement in your body? Is it more in the abdominal cavity or the chest cavity? And you could even use your hands to feel that. And then place both hands on the belly. Take a few belly breaths. And we'll do a breath for full relaxation first, meaning you're going to breathe to the belly. And I invite you to focus on the breath out. Make that maybe a little bit longer and slower and sweeter than the breath in. And just sensing as you're breathing out the way the whole body can land, anything touching the ground. And we'll be using this same technique anytime we come into our yin poses, the still poses, this ability to just let the bones hold us and the muscles relax. We'll practice it now in this neutral position. Breathing in to the belly, breathing out long and slow, and sensing the weight of your body just releasing into the earth. Last round of breath. And landing. So the first somatic movement we do, I'll ask you to bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, and if it's comfortable, widen your feet so they're wider than your hips. And just take a note to see how both kneecaps are pointing up towards the sky. Your right leg's going to stay there. We're going to work with the left side body first. So what can really help is to initiate the movement or at least increase the movement in the left side by breathing into the left lung. So you could place your hand on your left side, find your left ribs, see if you can bring that breath more up into your chest cavity. So now we're vitalizing more, focusing on that inhalation, that expansive nature, the vitalizing force of the prana coming into your left lung. And then as you're breathing into your left lung, sense the big toe side of your left foot. And as you breathe into the left lung, just tip onto the big toe side of the left foot. So your right knee will remain up towards the sky. You might feel a nice little stretch in that left hip and feel that arch in your waist. And as you breathe out, just bring the foot back flat on the ground. So you can tip onto that big toe side as you breathe in. And just notice how the leg coming in, the leg drop is helping to create a little more stretch in the bottom of the waist in that left side. And then we can increase the stretch in the upper waist as well. With your left hand, your hand could be on your shoulder or overhead, whatever is more comfortable. Begin to reach your left elbow or arm overhead. So you're drawing the hip and the armpit away from one another as you're breathing into that left lung. Breathe out and just release. Feel the way the breath creates space, and then the movement adds on even more spaciousness. And right now you're just playing with your range of motion. How much space can you create? And when we test that space, somewhere there's a boundary, a border that we're going to hit. We can only go so far. See if your head wants to roll back and forth. And how does it feel to be present in your whole left side? From the toes to the fingers. Feel the vitalizing energy coming into your left side, not just where you breathe when you're lung, but that whole left side. We'll take one or two more in movement. So it's like you're just testing the waters to see where do you want to land. And then when we come to land in the yin pose, you could stay right where you are, just letting that left leg fall in that bent knee position. However, I'm going to recommend if you're doing that you might want to consider, actually I'll show it from the front too, putting a blanket or a bolster or something underneath the knee. The other way I sometimes do it is that left leg is in and I'll bring the right leg in to hold the left leg. So you could do that, but I'm going to give you a third option in the yin pose, which is what we often call the banana asana. Just a good one to say, right? So in the banana asana, what you do is take that left leg long, slide it over to the right side of the mat, and then the left arm slides to the right side of the mat. Right leg, you can do whatever you want with. Some people like to cross it on top of the left. You could keep it bent. You could drop it out into to get a little groin stretch, maybe supporting it there. We're looking at creating length through the left side. And then take a few more vitalizing breaths into the left lung, just to create as much space as you can. See that prana not just filling the lung, but surrounding the heart, flowing through the shoulder to the fingers and the left hip to the toes. And then see, once you find that space, if you want to just allow yourself to rest into the ground. So you might even go back into that belly breath. Just breathe through the belly, make your exhalation a little bit slower and longer. Feel the weight of your body, each breath out, releasing into the ground. And in the yin postures, we try our best to find stillness, but sometimes your body will talk to you and ask for something else. It might be to back out of a pose a little bit if something's uncomfortable, or maybe find more support. You also might be invited to go a little deeper. But we're going to stay here for about another 2 minutes in stillness, so enjoy it. And do your best to keep your mind's eye in your left side. Each time you breathe out, imagine that left hip and shoulder blade just falling into the ground. The more you release the weight of the hip and the shoulder, the more space you make in that side. Feel the weight of your bones from the toes to the fingers. And yin is about physically softening and surrendering. But mentally, we stay awake and alert. So when your mind wanders off, which it will, That's completely normal. Bring it back to the sensations within your body, to the feeling of your breath. You could create an image of your breath filling your left side. Conscious relaxation for that whole left side. As we come into our last 10 breaths or so, see if there's any place that you're holding, any tension. Is there more of an opportunity to let go anywhere in your body? Last few breaths in the posture. And before we come out, I like to switch it back and breathe into the left lung again. And just to notice the difference. Did the belly breath bring you more of a sense of relaxation, of grounding, of surrender? And now vitalizing into that left side. Say thank you to your beautiful left lung, your heart on that side, your spleen, and slowly find your way out. So there's lots of things we can do in between the yin postures. One is to not do it all, to go directly to a space of stillness where our body's more symmetrical and just feel the two sides. But you may need some type of movement after that. You might need a full body yawn again, or to hug your knees into your chest. So always listen, and then you can meet me in that still space, the magic moment where we're just going to sit and feel the left and right sides of the body. Sense from your toes to your hips, left and right. From the hips to the shoulders, through your trunk. Shoulders out to the fingers. Can you sense any difference between your left and your right lungs? Inside of this special, unique space that only you can access. We'll get ready to do the second side, your right side. So I invite you again to bend your knees, place your feet on the ground. Take your feet as wide as it's comfortable, usually a little wider than the hips. This time your left knee will keep smiling at the ceiling. Feel your right leg. But first, let's start with the breath. Take your right hand to your right lung. See if you can locate your breath in your right lung. Give the whole right rib cage. Feeling the muscles between the ribs as they stretch as you breathe in, and gently compress as you breathe out. You can even use the floor underneath you. Breathe into the back of the lungs, back of the ribs on the right side. And then sense the big toe side, the arch of your right foot. And as you breathe in, draw that right leg across and forward to the left. And breathe out and come back. And sometimes this feels a little different on one hip or one side body than the other. See if you can keep your left knee still up towards the sky and feel that little bit of arch in your right hip, the lengthening through the thigh, the lengthening through the lower waist. Create space with the inhale, and it's like that inhale just shoots all the way through your hip and down your thigh. Like you're blowing up a long balloon, letting the prana flow through your thigh like your thigh is breathing. And then you can add your arm into this, just reaching through the elbow or the whole hand, creating space in the upper right waist, under the armpit. Exhale, come back to that space of grace where the body just lands and relaxes. This is a nice one too, because we're getting that internal rotation and what we call the adduction of the thigh. You might feel that stretch in your outer hip. Let your head roll from side to side if it wants to respond. And again, just testing the waters. How far do you want to go? Is your foot in the right place? Does your whole arm reach or just your elbow? So we know we're going to come to a still position. What do you want that still position to feel like? What is your end point today? And the beautiful thing about initiating it with the breath is that you know that your breath isn't stuck, so your body isn't stuck. When we can breathe this vitalizing air into the right side, that's a sign that we're not going too far. We're not pushing ourselves too much. Just finding that comfortable edge. Take a few more movement. And whenever you're ready to settle, same options are there. So sometimes it's nice to just let the leg fall in, but like I said, support it with a blanket, or you could even let the right leg rest on the left leg. And you can switch halfway through, right? This just gives the hip a whole different stretch. Or we can take that right leg long and slide it over to the right side of the mat. Slide the right arm to the left side of the mat. Oops, sorry, to the left on both of those. Let the right shoulder blade and hip fall into the ground. Wherever you want your left leg, you can cross it on top. I think I'll do the same thing I did on the other side, which was drop it open and support the left leg. But sometimes the two sides of your body want different things. That's okay. Just create space in the right side from the toes to the fingers. Take a few more breaths into your right lung. So really learning the difference between when are we breathing into the chest cavity, when are we focusing on the abdominal breath. And taking a few more vitalizing breaths, creating space. Focus on the levity of the inhalation. And then you can continue to breathe into the lung or take awareness into the abdomen. Do a more soft, sweet abdominal breath, focusing on the exhalation. Feel gravity supporting the weight of the body, the bones in the right leg, the hip, side body and the waist, right shoulder and arm, the whole body supported by the ground. We find our space, we stay present to feel what stays the same, what changes, any sensations within the body. If you're feeling any tension or tightness or resistance, just ask your muscles to release and relax. Or see yourself through your bones. Feel the weight of your bones. Yin can be such a beautiful practice, but I also recognize that sometimes the hardest thing to do is to give ourselves permission to not do and to stay present for whatever comes up in that not doing. Give yourself this time. An image of the prana flowing freely through your whole right side. toes to fingers, right side of your spine, your liver. Creating conscious awareness of your internal space. And relaxing into that space. As we come to the last 10 breaths or so, is there anywhere else you can let go a little bit more? Release a little bit deeper. Are you holding a fist, holding your hip? Physically feel the ground underneath you. Take your time coming out, arm and leg. Slide them back to the center. And just take that moment for yourself in a neutral position. Shake out your arms and your legs. And just feel your right and left legs, right and left hips. Sense the sides of your body. Where are you meeting yourself in your lungs, in your breath? And we'll end with a big full body stretch. Reach your arms up overhead, press through your legs. That little happy dance, reaching through one foot and the other. Exhale, let go. Take your time coming up. Thanks for joining me, and I hope that you feel a little longer and taller today. Peace, joy, love, and light.